Welcome to Module 19, Zanskar Traverse as part of the Himalayan webinar series. Today we are live as usual at 8 o'clock on Zoom. Videos are posted on Insta TV, YouTube, Facebook, and my blog, ultrajourneys.org. Today we're going to talk about Zanskar, which is a sub-district of Ladakh, very interior place, until recently only accessible through Kargil via the highway. Here you can see one of the local people with his domesticated yak transporting goods very deep inside the mountains of Zanskar along the Larla Pass. We'll be starting from the district or sub-district capital Badum, proceeds along the Lungnak River Valley to the town of Cha, where we join the Charap River towards Puktal Gompa, the interior village of Shadi, and then climb through three interior passes, the Rotangla, the Larlang, the Padangla, to eventually reach the town of Zangla, where we come again in the main Zanskar Valley. Here you can see a beautiful picture on our way, the Sarap River Valley, deeply cut in the high altitude desert, the highly erosive mountains of Zanskar. Here we can see a map basically. So Zanskar is located here somewhere. It's a part of Ladakh, one of the sub-districts. It's very interior, only accessible from the Kargil side. Government is building now highways to also access from this side through the Shingonla and from the Zanskar River, which joins the Indus River. The highway is also in progress. The Param is basically bordered by Kargil, then Leh on the right side, Lahore district from Himachal on the bottom, and Jammu on the left side. Here you can see in Google Earth pictures. So here we have Padum again, the center of, the main town of Zanskar. Zanskar connected to the Doda River Valley with Kargil on the north. Here you have the Zanskar River flowing. Zanskar, which gets born from the confluence of the Stud, Doda, and the Lungnak River, which comes from the southeast of Zanskar. At the village of Cha, we'll get into the Sarap River Valley, which we discussed in the previous module, the isolated, the remote Puktal Gompa monastery here. And then basically proceeds, leave the Sarap, which comes from the right, proceed along the Lumen River till the village of Shadi. From Shadi, one of the remotest towns of Zanskar, we head over three interior passes, the Rotangla, the Larla, and the Padangla, to finally take a left turn again to Zangla, which is again located in the Zanskar River Valley here. Zanskar River, which eventually flows deep inside towards Leh Ladakh, the Indus Valley. Let us maybe take an overall look. So our traverse will go around this peak here, the Cha Peak. This is Cha. 5,000 plus meter high peak. On the base we have the village of Cha also. So we'll do a circular traverse around this range, starting from Padum here, located in the main Zanskar Valley, where you have the confluence of the Stoktoda and the Lugnak River coming from this side. So we'll follow the Lugnak River, which is motorable to a certain extent. And then here on the confluence of the Kurgyak River and the Sarap River near Char, head along a trail interior along the Sarap River Valley, which eventually comes from the right. We'll proceed left along the Lumen River, which originates somewhere from interior Zanskar here. Proceeds from the village of Shadi. We also have the abandoned small town of Tanta Gompa, which is now deserted. And from Shadi, basically climb over the Rotangla, not the Rotangla near Manalim, this is another Rotangla. The Larla, through interior valleys here, basically in the Himis National Park, and then proceed further, eventually till a split here. Here we'll discover some a remote settlement of yak herders before we head up to the Padangla, after which we climb down again and take a left towards Zangla. Zangla again located in the main Zanskar River Valley. Okay, let's go. So these are the three high altitude passes here, not very high. I mean, 4,200, 4,250, 4,500, which is not extremely high, given the fact that, yeah, I think I've wrongly marked. These are the heights actually. This is the height of the starting town. This is the height of the descent point, sorry. Okay, so here we start at Padum. So Padum again is located in a wide open valley along the Zanskar River, confluence of the Zanskar and the other river, the Stot Doda. Beautiful green farmlands there, thanks to irrigation from the streams. Otherwise, it's like a barren high altitude desert, not much rain here. It's a rain shallow area being located in beyond the Pir Panjal high ranges. Initially, we'll follow the road around the Lungnak River. So we come across a beautiful smaller gompa, Munai gompa, built on a steep rock face on top of the Lungnak River. We take a look inside here, typical beautiful interior of a Buddhist monastery. You can see ancient wall paintings beautifully preserved in the gompa. This is centuries old. Voila, if we proceed further, then we come along some smaller towns here, the town of Amnu, with those typical stupas that mark the boundary of the small settlements. You can see both a road on one side of the valley and a small trail, the ancient trail that was used by the people on the opposite side of the Lungnak River Valley. The road is quite rough. It goes like along a steep rock face, proceeds above this Lungnak River, which is the confluence of the Kurgiak River and Sarap River, which meet around the town of Chahir. Chahir, you can see a typical house building style in Ladakh, and made from local materials, bricks made from the local soil. Not much wood available like the Himachal houses. Although whatever wood is available, they will use it for the construction of the roof. On top of the roof, they stack their dry dungs from yaks and cattle as well for making fire, cooking fire. Especially in the winter, they want to keep it dry on top as the snow will climb several feet high at this altitude. And then also a lot of dry grasses to feed the cattle in the winter months. Voila, after the village of Cha, we proceed along a steep trail high above the Sarap River Valley to eventually descend again towards the beautiful steel blue Sarap River in an unearthly like orange brown desert-like landscape canyon almost. Trails on both left and the right side, almost lost heritage as now the government is connecting Puktal Gompa on the opposite side of the valley with a motorable road, unfortunately. Here we can see an old gentleman from the village of Cha, where we just passed on his daily walk to Puktal Gompa to attend an puja. Let's take a small talk. Action.
आपका नाम क्या बोला?
तंजीम नमजद।
तंजीम नमजद।
हाँ।
आप कहाँ से हो?
मैं सुरले है, वनपा पुक्तल है, घर ये सुरले।
घर सुरले पे है और पुक्तल से आए हैं। कल कहाँ पे थे? चा से अभी पुक्तल जा रहे हैं। हाँ। सभी खाना वाना सभी।
खाना थोड़ा खाना है, खाना भूखा है।
आपका उम्र क्या है? 82
years old. 82, amazing. And he's walking alone.
रोज यहाँ पे सड़क जा रहे हैं। रोज every day he is walking like this on this trail.
Oh man. So what is he doing in Puktal every day?
पुक्तल में क्या करते हो आप?
पूजा करता है।
पूजा करते हैं।
आराम करके पूजा करते हैं।
पूजा करते हैं।
Voila, 82 years young. So finally we come across, which now probably is replaced by a bigger bridge, but a beautiful hanging bridge that connects both sides on both trails on this beautiful canyon across the Sarap River towards Puktal Gompa. Here we go for a small run across the bridge. Beautiful landscape for running. Play. Go, go, go. And cut. Voila. So this is one of those typical ancient hanging bridges used by the locals to commute across these wide canyons and ferocious streams. Here we see the beautiful Puktal Gompa. Used to be quite interior, almost one day walk from the nearest roadhead. But as I said, due to recent development, they are trying to make it connected by a motorable road. A couple of hundred monks stay here in their blue dresses. Beautiful views on the Sarab River below. Here you can see some of the students as they walk up to the monastery. I think school is finished. Class. Time to go home for lunch in the Gompa. Le. Budo. Here we can see another video with a bird's eye view from the Gompa on the river. Stunning views from top of the Puktal Gomta on the Sarab Valley below. The opposite village of Yugar. The monastery is built against a steep rock face. Inside, kind of a hollow rock. Inside a cave. Voila. So after Puktal Gompa, then we proceed along a small trail that is normally only used by the villager of Shadi village, which is around one day walk from Puktal along a very kind of treacherous trail that is now being a little bit fixed up. Sarab River cuts deeply into the landscape here. Initially we come after several hours of walking on the village of Tanta Gompa. Here you can see one of the houses, which is mostly deserted, as I guess there's no river here, side river anymore for cultivation or drinking water. Finally, we come to, again, a little bit further, 1 hour, we come to the village of Shadi, where I meet two students studying in Leh who return home after 3 years. Beautiful green settlement here, farming settlement, still a lot of older people mostly who are staying here. The youth, of course, as usual, migrates towards the city for easier money and an easier life from this hardship existence in the remote mountains. You can see a little yak there used by the farmers, usually for meat and milk. This is then the night stay at Charlie village, where I get treated on amazing hospitality. Here you have the elder ladies of the village coming together for a chat and serving chung from a big bucket here, while the host lady is preparing vegetable momos. Let's take a look at the ambience in the house. Today I'm staying in the village of Shadi. We have a gathering of the various villagers in this house. We are having shade, wine, and yummy vegetable momos. Very tasty food. On the way to... So then proceeding after Shadi village, we cross the Rotangla Pass, and then we come into very interior mountains where actually nobody goes except some of the villagers which go grazing some of the interior meadows with a big herd of some 100 yaks, also various donkeys and horses which are used to transport back produce from the herds, like all kinds of milk products. Yaks are milked every day, producing some 100 liters of milk from which they make cheese and butter and things to survive the long winter in this high barren landscape. Along the way, you find these shelters where the people who migrate in these areas can temporarily stay at night safely from, I guess, predators like snow leopards. Here you can see one of the villagers of Shadi who returns back with his domesticated yak carrying various goods from the settlement, the yak herder settlement, which we'll be crossing later on. Here you have beautiful views on this interior landscape of Zanskar from the Larla Pass, where you can see an ibex skull put on top of the pass. You will be going through this interior valley here, complete no man's land, complete barren landscape, out of this world basically, amazing place. Then finally at the base of the Palangla, the third pass, we come across this settlement, 3 shelters and 3 couples staying who actually milk the entire day, the yaks, which have been grazing in some very specific fertile meadows in this barren landscape. Let's take a look around the settlements. More milking going on in near the third house, older lady. The animals don't seem to mind. It's looking weirdly at me. They see me a little bit as a stranger. A lot of kuti yaks tied to the rope. Beautiful furry balls. Cute little ones. Here's a big mama watching me. Okay, and then here you can see the inside of one of these shelters where these people stay, I guess for weeks or months to graze their herds away from the town of Shadi. In search for green pastures in this barren desert, rock desert. In the night then, this is the following nightly procedure at the end of the day. In the evening, the horses, the donkeys and the smaller yaks are put in enclosures, as otherwise the snow leopards might try to come and grab them in the night. So a small enclosure keeps them safe from being preyed upon by the leopard. Everybody has to go in. Voila. And here you can see in this barren desert landscape, sometimes you find these beautiful meadows where exactly these herders take their herds, I guess, to graze the entire day so that they can produce milk, which again produces food products for the villagers of Shadi to survive a long winter in this barren landscape. After crossing the Padangla, we finally come down in a small kind of narrow canyon towards the village of Zangla, back into the Zanskar Valley. Here we can see some wild goats running away as I approach them. And these guys are amazing. They can just walk, run actually on top of those near vertical slopes that you see on the valley on top here, like if it's nothing basically. They're extremely agile in this terrain, as they're also in being targeted by these predators moving around in this barren landscape. So finally here we come back in the barren Zanskar Valley, the town of Zangla, which is a bit touristic. You have some homestays here, frequently visited by tourists who come from the Padum side directly via roads. And here you can see then the beautiful farmlands in the open Zanskar Valley around Zangla. Today we finally reached Zangla after a 2-day hike from Shadi village. This is a side valley of the main Zanskar Valley. Very green here, 2 weeks before the final harvest. Padum is around 34 kilometers in this direction. Hopping up a taxi tomorrow and hoping to meet Vishal for the next 2 weeks of the trip. 80 villagers of Zangla were working to restore the water canal, which had been damaged by recent landslides last week. Voila, that's it basically. This was a small tour of interior Zanskar, starting from the main town of Padum, going around the Lungnak Valley, down the Tsarap River, and then via Shade across 3 beautiful interior passes back to the village of Zangla. See you tomorrow for the next module, where we'll traverse some of the lesser known villages high above the Spiti Valley